Today I'm turning into Sin's Workshop. Hi, hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, bear with me, I'm still recovering over a cold. So, not all the way here, but I love reviewing, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna get into it. Today we are reviewing Prince of Mourning by Jenn Bennett. This was a gift to me from the publisher, so thank you again, publisher, for sending me a final copy of the book. I was pleasantly surprised. I need to start reading the back covers of books again. So usually when like publishers send me books, I'm just like, oh yay, cool. I don't even read anything about it. I just start reading it. And when they send me emails saying, hey, would you like a free copy of this book? I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. I just hit yes without properly reading the descriptions of the books. Cover makes it look like super fantasy. It's historical fiction with fantasy. So when I started reading it, it takes place in like 1983 New York. I'm like, what? New York? Like, what's going on? Fault is on me. 100% my fault. But I liked it. I almost said loved it. I love it. It's one of those books that the more I think about, I just find myself enjoying it more and more, and I like talking about it because it really was such a pleasant surprise to me. So I loved elements about it. I don't know if I love this whole story, but I really, really liked it. I already like kind of gave it to my friend Gina. I'm like, if you don't like it, can I get it back? Please? Por favor. I really enjoyed it. So it is a book I'd like to keep on my bookshelf. You know, so that my kids can read them in the future as they grow older. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. So, the story follows Molly O'Riordan. She's an Irish immigrant. Her mother was a prostitute, and she is in nursing school. She's an 18-year-old in nursing school, right? So when she's on call at one time helping out, she meets Charles Voss, and something happens, and he notices that Molly can do something people can't do. She can talk to ghosts. She can see the dead. So Charles Voss sees her talking to Bethany, her former classmate who died because she surmises got too big of a dose of morphine when she was sick. You know, 1800s, even late 19th century, we knew that stuff happened a lot. You know, we don't know nearly as much about medicine back then as we do now. So Bethany is like her loyal side. I love Bethany. Bethany's great. I love that she has Bethany, even though she's like, Bethany kind of annoys her sometimes. It's like, no, she's like your sister. You guys love each other, even if she's dead. And Bethany's like, what are you talking about? I'm not dead. And Molly realizes that that's something that happens a lot with the dead. They don't always realize they're dead, but it never like occurs to Molly like, oh yeah, I can walk through walls and doors and everything. It doesn't even occur to her that that's weird or unnatural or anything like that. She just kind of does it. And I love that about her. Bethany is really a really interesting side character. And I do applaud that, you know, the author for really giving the side characters a lot of personality. I'm seeing this a lot more often, where the side characters shine a little bit more than the main characters. And that's not a bad thing. You know? If you're going to have side characters, they should be as shining as your main characters. I don't think they should completely overshadow your main characters, because then you're doing a detriment to your work, because we want to be invested in the main character. But for a lot of the time in this novel, she didn't overshadow her, but she was a really good balance. I think Bethany brought out her personality. I think it brought out more within Molly. You know, it made Molly more passionate. It made her more interesting, right? Especially when Charles Voss specifically requests, you know, he has tuberculosis, and so he specifically requests Molly to come to his mansion, his very large mansion. He requests that she come to the mansion and take care of him, and he'll make a very, very large donation to the school. And so, you know, she doesn't really have a choice. She's like, okay, sure, not really have a choice. She goes. And she discovers a lot of supernatural things going on. A lot of occult going on. Like the shadowy figure of a man walking the grounds. And she also discovers a man locked in the basement in chains. Who is this man? Nim, or Nin? I pronounce it as Nim, you know. And who is he? He is one of the sons of death. And specifically, he is the Prince of Mournings. As in Mournings. You know, mournings, like you are in mourning. What he does is he comforts people. He offers comfort to people who are in mourning. That is his role to play. So he is an immortal god. And yet somehow he has been trapped. And that's part of the mystery. But also, Molly's trapped. She can't leave the grounds now. There's a spell trapping her on the grounds. So she has to discover what the fuck is going on. She has to rescue the Prince of Mourning, who is somehow getting injured. It's like, you shouldn't be getting injured. You're an immortal god. She is trying to unravel this whole occult mystery going on that also involves the Prince of Murderers, aka Nim's brother, and the part he plays in it, along with 2 immortal witches who came body hopping through the centuries. That's how they stay immortal. They body hopping. She's trying to solve all of the mysteries. I liked the mythology in the story with Nim, because we do get a glimpse of the mythology around his, you know, origins, which are a little disturbing. And he even says, he's like, it's not a pretty story. It was not a pretty story, but it was an interesting one. And I do think it was a unique one as well. I like his dynamic with Nim. I love how, not with Nim, with Molly. I like their dynamic and the romance that blossoms between them. I got very emotionally invested in them, to be perfectly honest, because when I got to the end of the book, of course he's God, he can't stay in the realm of God, on the realm of mortals, they can't be happily ever after, and so she has to go back to her whole life. So when I read the ending, I was literally finishing up in the break room before my shift started. My boss is in the other room, and I'm just like, very, very loudly, I was like, are you kidding me? My boss is like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. And then there's an epilogue, and I'm like, never mind, I'm okay. And she's like, what happened? I was like, and I told her everything. I'm like, no, they have to be together. They have to end up together. But the epilogue, you don't get to see them get together. But it is alluded to that they are endgame, and she's going to become immortal with him. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay now. It's fine. I got very emotionally attached, okay? So, the fact that I was reading the book and all of a sudden I'm, like, exclaiming very loudly and very angrily, like, shows you I was invested. So, yeah, I think I did love the book. It was very interesting. It was very unique. I liked the pacing. I was pleasantly surprised, because I don't always like historical fiction with fantasy. It's always touch or go with me. Like, sometimes I like it, like in this case, and then other times I'm horribly disappointed, like The Second Deaths of Eddie and Violet. God, I can't remember their names, but that's the name of the book. The Second Deaths of Eddie and Violet something. I did not like that book. It bored me to tears. Miscommunication trope in that book is heavy, and I don't like the miscommunication trope. But historical fiction is always really touch or go with me. It's not something I usually always enjoy, So when I started reading this, I was just like, uh-oh, this is historical fiction. Am I going to like this or not? And I got invested. I got emotionally invested in the book. The pacing was really, really well done. I love the character dynamics. I think the character dynamics were done really, really well, because they do balance each other in a really interesting way. I think the little bits of mythology that the author created for the story was really unique and interesting, and I really do, I did find myself emotionally invested. It was a really, really good book. I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. I really need to start reading. I just say yes. It's just my response is just like yes, because it's like it's a free book. Why would I say no? I just said yes. So I should probably start doing myself a favor and just reading what these books are about before I hit yes. I say that. No, I am probably not going to do that. Because then I can't get pleasantly surprised like this. That's my excuse, and that's what I'm sticking to. In any case, thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book reading friends. I do recommend this book highly. And on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy reading.